All right, let's get into how to do some color on our graffiti projects. Yesterday you did your letters. Hopefully you only did lines and you didn't do coloring or shading. You see that I have filled 80% of my space, and it's very unique. It says M R period H, Mr. H. Okay, so I'm going to start layering color here. I'm going to show you what to do, and I'm going to also go through what not to do. All right, so it doesn't really matter where you start. You're going to add in your color. Now, I do want, this is a yes, I do want to see bright, bold colors. Okay, you see I'm putting a layer on that is thick and there's no white space in there. It covers the paper very well. So this is really what I'm looking for. I'll make that a little bigger so it's easier to see. Okay, and don't worry about going over the lines. You can trace the lines first if you want to. But this is what I'm looking for, that it's colored in completely. You may want to backfill it. So you kind of go over and then you layer up another layer to make sure that it is good to go. And I like to go in lines. Some students like to do what's called scumbling. It's basically circles. It's a little easier on your hand to do this way, and you can backfill it very easily. And it's pretty easy to get the layers you're looking for. So that's what I'm looking for. Nice, even, smooth coat of color. If you're doing fill, okay, if you're using a color, you want to make sure that you are filling it completely. Okay, and mine's not perfect. We'll fix the lines later. But what I don't want to see is this. You do your heavy outline. I see this more often than you would realize. And then you just kind of come in and it's real light. And it's filled up with color, but you know, it's just kind of light. And it's not really red, it's more pink. And this is what I see quite a bit. Now, if you're going for a certain effect, that can be useful, but if you're wanting to fill it with the bright red color, this is what you need to do. So this is a yes, this is a no. Do not do that on your paper. That will be unacceptable and you will lose points for that on your project. Now, one thing you can do if you're looking for this effect, you can start dark, and if you're wanting to, you can get lighter. Okay, that is okay. If you're going for some type of effect that is needed, okay, but it has to look good, it has to make sense. I have to understand that you're trying to fade the color, blend the color, add some value there. Okay, so that's just one color fill. Now, sometimes you may want to blend colors together. So let's say you're wanting to blend red and orange. Okay, so I'm going to do red, and this is going to be orange here. So I'm going to start red, I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to start orange. I'm going to go this way, and they're going to kind of cross in the middle, and one color blends into the other. This is really easy to do. Usually if I'm doing this direction, I'll turn my paper so that I'm going up and down, even though I'm coming down. If it was this way, I don't want to go like that. That's harder. I'm dragging my hand. I like to do this. So I will start here. See, I always outline it when I start because it just helps me define my area. Okay, I'm going to get a pretty good solid fill to start. Okay, and as I come down, I'm going to start fading it down, and I'm actually going to fade it down into the orange just a little bit. So you see I've got a good smooth gradient there coming from red all the way down through the orange. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the orange coming up. I'm going to kind of feather that in, feathering meaning Just lightly shade it through. Okay, and I'm going to color some of this orange through the red. The orange is a little lighter. Okay, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to start layering up my red over the orange here. And I'm going to go back and forth in the middle especially till I find what works for me. And I'm paying attention to the colors here as they're blending in the center. Excuse me. And I'm paying attention to how they're interacting in the middle here. Okay, color some more orange. Let me add some more orange over here to kind of help it out. So you see I've created this kind of red to orange on here. It's difficult to see from the screen, I know, but you can see kind of how I've worked that from one color into the next. You can do this with any two colors that you want to have one go the other. Now, the last thing, what we're going to do, and I'm going to do this with a black colored pencil. You can do it with anything you want. See, I've got the edges here are not as clean as I'd like them. So I'm going to, and this is after the whole thing is colored, not just one piece. So I would do the whole H at once, or even color the whole paper if I'm doing the background, which I would like you to do the background to some degree, just to have the whole thing look cohesive. But we are going to do our outlines last, and you'll see me come in and I can thicken the outlines wherever I want to kind of cover. Make them thicker in areas, thinner in others. But the outlines are the very last thing I'm going to do. And that's going to help clean up those edges. I can thicken it in areas that I need to cover up any places that I am having issues with overcolor. Okay, and that's just going to help clean it up just in general. And I can even curve the inside of something, put a curve on the inside there to kind of make it look a little cooler. Layer that up. Okay, so last thing you're going to do is the outlines, and that's just going to give it that extra dimension of finished look. Okay, and you want the lines to be nice and clean, and again, you're going to play with the thickness. You may make one line extra thick, so maybe I want to really thicken this line up. This is your chance to do that when you're doing your outlines. That's okay to do. Okay, again, you can shape your lines however you want and just make your lines interesting and play with them. Okay, so this is just a quick demonstration. Obviously I didn't do the whole thing, but just want to show you this is what I'm looking for, not this. And this is okay sometimes, and blending is another good technique to use. Okay, so those are your coloring instructions. This should be due on Friday. So you have today, tomorrow, and Friday to finish the work.